Hey and welcome, I'm Phoebus, a.k.a, and today I want to talk to you about staples in Pokemon regions. Hey everyone, today we'll be continuing exploring my new Yeonjo region project. In this, let's say, episode in the series, we're gonna take a look at 2 new evolution lines you'll encounter in the early text. And in all honesty, this video is kinda gonna be sort of childhood themed. I mean, that would be slightly weird until you remember the fact that this video will cover some of the earliest Pokemon, well, Fakemon, but for the sake of simplicity I will just keep saying Pokemon, you will encounter in this Pokédex. And with that in mind, Pokemon that are mostly based around children thematics. So that makes sense, right? The early routes of Pokemon are often filled with staple Pokemon tropes. Think of the early normal types on the routes like Bidoof, Rattata and Zigzagoon, or the early route bugs like Ladybug, Wurmple and Grubbin, and of course the early route birds like Pidgey, Starly and Fletchling. Oh, and I know they aren't full staples early on, but personally I do like to include Pokemon like Poochyena, Shinx and Liepard in this too, considering most Pokemon games have their own sort of 4th early member of the early route Pokemon. Early route Pokemon are used in the games to showcase how to catch Pokemon, and in most cases when it comes to the bug type Pokemon, how evolution works, considering they all evolve, or almost all I should say, at a fairly low level. Early route Pokemon really are most often the first real taste of what the region has to offer. So with that in mind, I would like to offer the first 2 evolution lines of the early route Pokemon in the Yeonjo text, being the early route Bug and the early route Bird. But with the next video covering the early route normal type and the mammal. Okay, so let's get started. Arapi, Weedle, Ladybug, Spinarak, Wurmple, Kricketot, Swaddle, Venipede, Scatterbug, Grubbin, Blipbug and Tarantula. All of these bugs have something in common. Well, multiple things. Most notably, they are of course the early route bug types in their own respective generations. But what I was getting at is that all of these bug types are very much so stylized to look cute and simple. Because we all know that most bugs do creep people out. Not everyone, but enough people to make them not be as appealing as they would be when they're cute and stylized like these Pokemon are. For example, look at Spinarak. Having fewer legs helps it seem less creepy overall despite being a spider. Plus, its cute and simple eyes make it look more appealing to people. Heck, if we are to simplify this even further, look at Caterpie, who is pretty much just a straight up stylized version of the real world Spice Bush Swallowtail caterpillar. And there's no better example for this than Caterpie. Early route bugs are most often things like caterpillars and other larvae, though while doing my research I failed to find a good crop to base my bug on, which this sent me in circles for a while, until I found a cool inspiration source for the Cocoon stage of all things for this evolution line, on which I'll be speaking more later, but that did help me out a lot to solidify the inspiration for this regional bug. And with that, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Meet Papillar. Its name stemming from paper and caterpillar. Papillar is a bug and normal type, which, if it were real, would make it the first of its kind. It is loosely based on the water snow flat skipper caterpillar, taking things like the shape of its head from it. But it's more prominently based on folded paper caterpillars, origami, or also known as Jongae Jobiki, Popular also takes from my own experience doing crafts, both as a kid and while I was studying to become a teacher. Yeah, some J lore right there. It also takes from some species of moth larvae, which are also known to eat things as fabric and notably paper, which this line is about. Popular, the folding Pokémon, its weak body is susceptible to nearly everything, thanks to its body being paper-like. It gets swept up by gusts of wind with ease. The folds on its body are sharp enough to slice skin. When it's attacked by bird Pokémon, it can escape by wriggling around in a panic, leaving the bird with cuts in the process. It also gets a new ability, Jagged Edge. Slicing moves used by a Pokémon with this ability leave the target with cuts. The target Pokémon takes damage equal to 1/16 of its own maximum HP at the end of the next 2 turns. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Popular comes in 8 different colors. So, sometimes an idea for an evolutionary line strikes you, but as the middle stage, which is what just happened for the Popular line. And when I tell you about this, I believe, despite it being Korean in origin, you may very well recognize this. This is a game involving Jonga-Joki, the paper folding I mentioned earlier. In this game, the non-throwing player places their jockey tile on the table or on the floor. The throwing player tries to throw that tile so it makes the other player's tile flip over. They should try to throw from a downward angle. If they are successful, they get a point. So what is a jockey? You might ask. Well, in the description of this game, I mentioned it being a tile. But if this does not ring any bell just yet, seeing this guy might just do that. Jockey is the game played early on in the subway in Squid Game, but the idea began to form when I had been looking into Jonga-Joki, where the shape of a jockey just had really something appealing to me. So with that said, meet Cocoon. Cocoon, taking its name from Chucky and Cocoon, its entire design takes after the shape of Chucky too, plus that of those paper fold fortune tellers it's made at least when I was still in school. Cocoon, the folded Pokémon. It folded its entire body to become something new. After evolving, Cocoon diet consists of leaves and paper. For this reason, these Pokémon can be seen flinging themselves through windows and open doors into homes and stores to find paper sheets to munch on. Like Popular, Cocoon has multiple different colors. So, after finishing both Popular and Cocoon, I had an idea in my head that formed around the both of them, which also coincidentally lined up with things I have done in arts and craft lessons that I mentioned earlier. It was of course gonna be a paperfold butterfly, which by all means did make it a bit difficult to incorporate many typical butterfly features into it. That said, I did incorporate elements from the water snow flat skipper and simply the monarch butterfly into this design. Meet the final evolution for the regional bug of the Yeonjo region, Nabigami. Its name stemming from Nabi, meaning butterfly in Korean, and origami. Nabigami's wings are directly inspired by those types of butterfly folds, adding a thick lined pattern onto its wings and a double fold as if it had a second, shorter pair of wings altogether. Its body is made to look like it's wearing a hanbok too, that being the name for more traditional clothing found in South Korea. I kept its actual body rather simple as I couldn't realistically keep it too prominent in order to not distract from the wings, which are the main feature of the design. Namigami, the folded wings Pokemon. Its paper wings are very sharp and super light. Though considered to be fragile, they are Namigami's best tool for combat. It eats nothing but paper and leaves. If its wings get damaged in any way, it can repair them with regular paper. This had led to Namigami with irregular colored wings. At level 24, when it evolves from Cocoon, Namigami learns the move Paper Cuts, a normal type move that does physical damage. 50 power and 100% accurate, user attacks with its paper sharp body, leaving the foe with cuts that do 1/8 damage at the end of this turn and the next turn. Now, with one evolution line done, I figure it's a good moment to just do the YouTuber thing and do this. So, if you like the video so far, please consider leaving a like, maybe to drop a comment, and if you want to see more in the future, consider subscribing. I'm aiming to make a video on Fakemon at least once a week, so if you follow my process making Fakemon, please consider subscribing. It means a lot and lets me know that you want to see more. Okay, so moving on to the second evolution line I want to cover in this video, time to tackle some birds. So personally, I quite like the simplistic body plans of Fletchling and Rookidee particularly. The round shapes both used in Fletchling and Rookidee's bodies did inspire me to make this new one. I wanted to make something that appeared similarly cute and simple, but at the same time I also knew exactly which bird I wanted to use for this. Korea's national bird, a magpie. The magpie, or kachi in Korean, is a symbol of good luck and of good news, such as the arrival of very nice new visitors. Fitting. Or new trainers, wouldn't you say? Though magpies are also often associated with kleptomancy, such as taking a liking to shiny things, like coins or other trinkets. I did my best to combine both these things into this evolution line. So, without further ado, introducing Churchy, from the words chir, obviously the sound that birds make, and kachi, the Korean for magpie. Its plumage is inspired by both that of the Gloucester canary and the common hairstyle seen in depictions of kids with Asian heritage. It has a little plume standing tall on top of its head, being a stylized version of a ahoge, aka idiot hair, to make it seem a little bit more cute. The feathers on its chest make up a little bow tie shape, completing a cute and little dapper look. Churchy, the swindler Pokemon. It flocks in groups and lives around populated areas. The plumage on its head allows it to charm people into giving it affection. When it has people distracted, its flock swoops in to yoink anything that it can pickpocket. Now, you know when people tell you to end on a high note, right? Yeah, I'm gonna do that with this video. And I'm gonna do that by proxy of the name of this final Pokemon for the video. Because I swear, it's the stupidest, yet it works so perfectly for it. Everybody, please let me introduce to you Swagpie. I told you, I did tell you, like, it just works so well as a name for me. Swagpie coming from the words swagger, swag, an old term for lewd, and magpie, though I'm usually not big on intentionally making Pokemon more anthropomorphic, it felt just like the right thing to do with Swagpie here, seeing as it takes its inspiration from smooth-talking businessmen and having a pattern of swords on its chest that's resembling a suit. Like it's just meant to look like a cool guy, effectively. The feathers forming a bowl cut on Churchy have now smoothed out to be a more slick look for it, like slicked back hair, or for example a quiff found on other species of bird. Swagpie, the swindler Pokémon. Its suave demeanor makes it popular among several different groups of trainers. It keeps its feathers neat and tidy and dislikes getting them dirty. It loves shiny things. Its beak is specialized in picking necklaces, bracelets and other shiny objects from people in one quick motion. And that's just about it for today. I got nothing else to show you right now. Next time, I want to see if I could either do something fun like the Convergent Evolutions video again, or I'm just gonna go into part 2 of the early route book. I'm gonna decide over the course of this coming week. But hey, if you like this video, please consider liking, subscribing, leaving a comment, letting me know. And, until next time, bye bye. Oh, YouTube thinks you might like to watch this video next.